So, welcome everyone. This is the first of two member Q&As via Zoom that we're doing in August. We have two every month, the second Thursday evening, US time, and then the fourth Sunday morning of every month. These have been going on for almost 3 years now. I really can't believe that. And they're just an opportunity for us to gather to look at uh, things that might be bedeviling you with WikiTree, things you need a little helping hand with, and the benefits of doing this on uh, Zoom is that we can screen share and we can do things in real time, and it's that's a really nice feature of the platform. So just to now I'm one of four hosts, so let us introduce ourselves. My name is Betsy Ko, and I joined WikiTree in 2019. I'm also a team member, and WikiTree is it's just an incredibly special place to me. I'm on there every day for hours, and I can't imagine life without it now. Um, so I got into genealogy about 10 years ago, and my ancestry is a little diverse. My dad's family is from Taiwan, and my mother's family is from England and some Canada and uh, a little German and possibly Dutch. But so those are the areas where I do a lot of my research, and I've just found the community to be a wonderful thing. And we do have a question from one of our two guests tonight about hooking into the community. So that we'll get to talk more about. If you've remained in the shadows, we'll talk about ways you can find your little niche or niches. So Stephen is, yep, with the cap. Stephen Greenwood
Yes.
has been with,
With the Brewers cap, go brew 12 in a row. We have burgers coming next week from George Webb's because I'm in Wisconsin. And that tends to be a lot of my focus is Wisconsin too, as well as so many Germans. A lot of my heritage is German. A little bit of Scots-Irish. I'm going to be going to Irish Fest here this weekend, so I might peek into that a little bit more in the genealogy tent that they have. It's supposedly the largest Irish gathering, like celebration in the world. So
wow.
Milwaukee holding it on the Henry Meyer Festival grounds, same grounds as a German Fest, Summerfest, all of the festivals that we have.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I'm gonna try to check that out again. Watch some music, eat some food, and get a little bit more in comfort with that side of my ancestry, just that little paternal line. But yeah, mostly the focus is Germany for me, and I am also part of that project as well. And I do also focus on notables projects, so I'm constantly making profiles of recently deceased notables, and sometimes they get connected and featured, so that's kind of cool sometimes. And these projects overlap. Sometimes we might be interacting with things that Denise is working on or Murray's working on because we have things in the Black heritage or the DNA. So a lot of the collaboration is built on the people's various interests and how we all come together as a group. So I think that's a good segue actually into Denise, right?
Hello, good
Yeah.
afternoon.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
hello, because I don't know what time of day it is for some of you. It's evening here. I'm in Ohio. I reside at the home of the Ohio State University,
Columbus.
Columbus, Ohio, just outside Columbus. My parents, however, were born and raised in the South, so that is where most of my ancestral research is done. Alabama, Louisiana, Texas are the key hotspots right now for me. It keeps me pretty busy. I joined WikiTree in 2020. Shortly after that, in 2021, the project lead for the U.S. Black Heritage Project reached out to me and asked if I would like to be a co-leader. I'm like, okay. So my focus has been with helping African Americans identify their ancestry and connect them to their ancestors. I am a team leader for the cemetery project. the U.S. Black Heritage Cemetery Project, but then that helps me collaborate with the WikiTree Cemeterists group, that project. I also interact with the Texas project, and I collaborate with the Louisiana project. So, you're not just one, you're dealing with a lot of people in the entire community, and collaboration is what WikiTree is all about. And that's why I love it. Murray.
Folks, I'm here on WikiTree because I'm obstinate. When I was younger, my Macedonian relatives all told me, "You'll never find out anything about our heritage or anything like that. All the gravestones are gone." My grandparents were from a little village called Tercia in the north of what is now Greece, what was then the Ottoman Empire. And on my father's side, we had obviously my name Murray Maloney, so we had an Irish ancestor, and we can't really find out much about him. I mean, he came over, we know that, but beyond that, we don't know. But what I have discovered is that the rumors were true, that our family did in fact have Native ancestors. Now, for the longest time, people in my family and people in that area would deny it. It's a weird thing, how people are, but anyway, they would deny it and say, it's not true. The genealogists in our family said, "No, you have no paperwork. You can never prove that we had indigenous ancestors." And then around 2018, I guess it was, I said, "Well, what about DNA?" And they said, "Well, we don't really know much about DNA." And I said, "Well, neither do I, but let's learn. Let's figure this out." So we started to look for people who we could ask to get tested. See, because we couldn't go into the FTDNA group and find people because it's all a mystery box. You can't really see inside. You can't see people's names. You don't know how to contact anybody. So we had to find a cousin that was willing to cooperate, and then we did, and then we found more. And one of the people that, not that we reached out to, but that independently, along with her sister, took a DNA test, is here with us tonight. That's Gina Fernandez, and we'll be talking to her a little bit later on. But basically, I was just so obstinate that I wasn't going to let them tell me, "No, you can't." So here we are. Okay. Now, what I've done, with the help of a lot of people in the Gaspé and a lot of genealogists and a lot of cousins, is to figure out who were all the descendants of this one Mi'kmaq woman in the Gaspé Peninsula. And so far, I've got a list of, I don't know, I think it's something like 50 descendants who have taken the tests, and we've got 9 of them, I think, here on WikiTree.
Wow.
Awesome.
Now, some of them are shy, and there have been people who were on WikiTree, and when I contacted them, they hid themselves because they didn't want anybody probing into the fact that they were C1C. But in any case, now I was talking to Gina the other day, and we were talking about the fact that she has C1C blood, and I don't. By the way, I don't have C1C blood. She does. And
Murray, just to clarify, C1C is a haplogroup, right?
a haplogroup, yes, an mtDNA haplogroup.
Could you define that just for everybody, what a haplogroup is?
Well, what they've done is there's millions of DNA tests that have been taken, and they've gone through all of these tests and compared them. And when they found similarities among the groups, they've labeled them. Okay. And so the C haplogroup, for example, is pretty much a Native American. When I say Native American, I mean indigenous to the Americas. So it's indigenous to the Americas, just as A and B and D are indigenous to the Americas. Okay. Now there are some C people, for example, in Iceland, and in what's it called, Finland, where the Sami are. And you know, there's lots of guesses how they got there, but you know, the Vikings could have grabbed a few people and brought them back across, right? In any case, figuring out getting this C1C group together was just a goal that I had, and I needed to prove it. I needed to show that it worked. But once I was, you know, when I was on FTDNA, well, you're not proving anything to anybody. I mean, there's a bunch of other people that can see your results, but so what? But on WikiTree, you can make claims, you can write papers, you can draw people's attention to things, you can get them to form groups, you can get them to take pride in, you know, in the group that they belong to. And whereas on Family Tree DNA, it's like, okay, well, you know, I'm allowed to wear my secret cap, but not, you know, only the people in this room get to see it. So that's enough about me. Oh, there we go. Denise
Wonderful.
put a nice note in.
Yes. So this is something that information you get when you take a mitochondrial DNA test or Y DNA test for males.
Yep.
And so let me just preface before we get seriously underway. We have two guests tonight. We have Gina Fernandez, who Murray's already mentioned, and we also have William Donnelly. So we'll split. I'll keep an eye on our clock, and so we'll split our conversation. I think it'll be a really nice complement from what I know of their questions. So. So let's see, is there a way that we can put Gina in the mix with us?
Okay, so the one, this is my picture, the one that you can see me here, right? The other one is my PC, but I don't have a camera with it. So the one that you want to connect me to is one that with where you can see me talking, right?
Great, yes, we can. Okay, wonderful. Well, Gina, really nice to meet you.
Cool. Yeah.
And so tell us a little bit about what you want to know, and if you want to weave in, you know, what your experience on WikiTree so far, that's fine too.
Okay. Do you want to hear a little bit about my background first? As everybody?
Sure. Whatever you think is relevant.
Okay, so quickly, I started genealogy probably around 2012, but previous to that, my first exposure was this book that my cousin gave me. And she got this book because she was dating some guy in Gaspé, my cousin from Montreal. And she found this book on his mother's table. She says, "Oh, what's this?" And then she looked in here and said, "Oh, my grandmother's in here." And she started to find our whole family, right? This is the registers from Saint-Godefroy in Gaspé, where my grandmother was born. Anyway, so she told me about it. I said, "Oh, you have to get me one. You have to get me one." So she dated it to it's 2005. So she wrote me a little blurb in here from 2005. So I've had this book since that time, and I really didn't pay that much attention to it. I looked and said, "Oh yeah, there's my meme, and yeah, she's there." But one day I was sitting at the computer and I was bored, and I said, "Let me just check this book." And I thought, okay, I'm gonna just put in my great grandparents in the computer. So I put my great grandparents in, and Roots Web came up, and boom, there they were. And then I kept clicking and clicking and clicking and clicking and clicking, and I went all the way back to 1500s. Wow. And like the first day, it was unbelievable, and I was calling everybody up, so it was pretty exciting. But I didn't really do a lot with it at that time until probably 2016, when my grandmother from Colombia died. So my father is from Colombia. And with my cousin, when I went down to California for the funeral, we started to do the genealogy. And from that, I found a third cousin who I contacted right away by email. I wrote him in Spanish, and he responded within half an hour. And, you know, we've been connected, and he sent me this book. right? Written by a first cousin. This is my second great grandfather, who was a very, very important man. He brought the wireless telegram to Colombia. He was a very,
Wow. He's a notable.
yeah, notable. Oh, I got another notable on my grandmother's side. I won't tell him. I'll surprise another time. That's a big one. On the bad side.
Ooh,
The worst one you can think of. I don't know.
notorious. Mm.
Anyway, so my father is Colombian, 100%, and that takes us, of course, Colombia, Spain, maybe some Venezuela. On my mom's side, my mom was born in Montreal, originally from Gaspé. So we have a French, Canadian, Acadian, and of course my indigenous line and several indigenous lines, which I had already proved it. I was able to find all the records going back all the way to my unknown Mi'kmaq, to her husband, Guillaume Kaplan.
Wow.
My mother's father was Italian, Sicilian, but he was born in Tunisia. So he spoke Arabic, of course, Italian, Arabic, and French. And I have quite a few records from him from Tunisia, but they're all in Latin, in French. Yeah. So I'm dealing with quite a few. I have nothing in English. Thankfully, I speak Spanish and I get by in French. And the Latin and Italian, I can make do with the others in Google. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I've done a lot of genealogy. I have a lot of resources, a lot of paper resources, and I do a lot of friends' genealogies too. I've dabbled in many countries, and I really enjoy. And I found many cousins along the way, like students who are my cousins, coworkers who are my cousins. Because if you have French Canadian DNA or ancestry, we're basically probably cousins.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
A little bit of a bottleneck there in French Canada,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, that's amazing. So many different directions.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
So much genetic. Wow, there's a lot.
Did you guess my bad ancestor from Colombia?
He wasn't a dictator.
No.
Wait, he wasn't the drug kingpin.
Pablo Escobar.
That's him.
Is it Pablo Escobar?
Yeah. Third, I'm related to him on several lines. Third cousin, I don't know how many times removed, and fifth cousin, and many, many, many. Because I'll tell you why. My grandmother's last name was Gaviria, and he is Escobar Gaviria. And I didn't realize that first. I only knew him as Pablo Emilio Escobar. I never, until I started checking Gaviria, and then his name, I said, why is he popping up in my searches? Because he's a Gaviria. Basically, all Gavirias come from either two places in Colombia. It's one of those names where if you're from that area and your name is Gaviria, I can tell you, you're my cousin. The same as the French Canadian. It's the same thing. We're all connected, all coming from Medellin or Cartagena, but mostly from Medellin, right? So that's that line.
So we're thrilled that you found your way to WikiTree. And what questions can we answer for you about WikiTree?
Okay, well, first of all, I love WikiTree, even though it's been very frustrating for me up till, but I'm getting some results. But what I really love about WikiTree is I'm a records person. I love searching for documents, and I go to somebody and I want to prove that that person is actually connected to me. I don't like just clicking and joining and just, oh, that person's, oh, click, 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 and then you don't even really know. So I'm always searching for documents, and I like to prove things very exactly. And I'm a detail person. That's my strength and my weakness at the same time.
Come to the right place.
Drive myself crazy. So I guess I'm really interested in. Murray has helped me a lot. First of all, he got me set up with Discord. And I've had some struggles with it. For some reason, it doesn't let me sign in sometimes, and sometimes it does. But I'm getting onto it now, and he helped me. He finished my whole French Canadian tree, so I have all the information. But I turned around, I said, Murray, it's all done. Thank you.
Oh, I need a Murray.
I'm happy about it actually, because I figured that is the one I've already worked on, and I know everybody. I have the line done,
You.
and it's
Ask
awesome
Stephen.
did that. But I thought, what kind of magic is that? I want to be able to do that quickly. I want to be able to, and then he told me about Sorcerer, and I still haven't figured it out. But I have figured out the reference, just basically. I've added a few people in now using the ref with the, the carrots.
The
and
inline citations.
and with
Yep.
the backslash in different spaces. I finally figured out. How did I figure it out? I figured out by going backwards. I was able to, I figured, oh, maybe because I kept clicking. I said, I can't see how this is done. I can just see the source, but I can't see so I was able to click in behind, kind of go behind it to see what it looks like. Yes. And then I looked at and I saw, okay, this is what it looks like behind, and this is what it looks correct now. The source is sitting in the sources spot. But I didn't know that you have to write the sources in the biography spot.
Yes.
That's what I did not understand from the instructions.
Oh, you were putting them down below in the references section?
Yeah, exactly. Because
trying to use the code below the references tag.
I think that would be a good way to explain it, that showing side by side, this is what it looks like when you're creating it. And this is what it's going to look like after you create it, to see the side by side. I think that would be very useful. That's my input.
There's a page for that.
Yeah. I think of it as the back of a piece of embroidery, and it's a little messy looking, and tie-offs here and there, and snips, and then you turn it over, and it makes sense.
So I'd like to learn. So Murray, you told me there's something about you put the reference and then equals name, baptism, that kind of thing. The identifier, that one I didn't understand. And sorcerer. Those are two things I'd really like to know, because I want to do some magic like he has done.
Sure. Yes. Okay. Stephen, Denise, do one of you?
I'm just linking that wonderful page that you had there, Betsy, in case anybody has any questions on Wikicode at all.
So this, what Stephen's putting a link in the chat to, Gina, is just a cheat sheet that I developed over in my first bit of time on WikiTree. Things that, like what you just mentioned, the quotes, ref equals marriage record, for a reference that you want to keep using to back up facts throughout the biography. And so, the wiki code is can make you want to tear your hair out a little bit, because you have to have all the bits and bobs in place. And one missed colon or one shy single apostrophe, and it makes the whole thing look wrong. Yeah, right. So that's why I made this cheat sheet. So I still consult it. Yeah.
Okay. So when you say to use it again, you mean the same baptismal record, let's say, that is proving this point and proving that point. So you would then so it would come up as source 1, and then source 2 would be using the same record.
Right here, if I may, what I'm going to do is show you an example. Let me
And I think what you mean to say is that it's the same source, but it's two different facts, right? It's two different concepts that you're trying to cite. So yeah, there's a way to do what's called ref name, and this can assign a name to that reference. So the next time you use it, you just put in the ref name, and you have to close it.
Okay, now when you say the ref name, you just write the word name, or you're actually putting
it's a special part of the HTML. So she'll probably show you what it actually looks like. It's going to have your carets, or the plus than greater than signs that create HTML. But instead of simply being ref, which ref doesn't go anywhere, ref just is saying, okay, here's a reference, and then you put it in, and then you cite it, and you close it, right, and it's done. But ref name, which is ref space name, and then usually you have like a equal sign and then the name of whatever that thing is, and then you close it, and then you begin your source, right? That will continue to cite the same one down the page as many times as it populates. as long as you close it properly and everything.
Okay. I need a,
But yeah,
Right.
there's going to be a
So,
visual
so
demonstration here.
here's an example. Now the really great thing, I would say many percentage of our profiles on WikiTree are open, which means that you can click into edit mode and look behind the curtain. So that's what I advise people who are in the learning stage to do, is to check out. So we're going to go into edit mode in a second. But what you can see here is here my first source
Down to Kashkanog.
is that he was born in Oneida Castle, Vernon, New York. And that is marked as, if I go down to my sources, I got the location of his birthplace from his marriage record. But you can also see that I've got 2 facts next to the marriage record, because of course I also used the marriage record to document his marriage.
Marriage.
Yeah, right? So there's a 1 and a 1.
okay.
So, and then in between that, I have a couple of other facts. I have a 2, 3, 4 censuses and that sort of thing. Now let's look behind
Sorry,
this.
scroll down again. What?
Yeah.
I want to look at the numbers, how they show up down. The
So
one
yes, yeah.
up at one.
If it's
Okay.
using
1.0 and 1.1. Okay.
yeah, and if I had used it for a third fact, it would be 1.2.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
now that makes sense.
Yeah. So now looking at it, here, let's first look at a source that I only cited once. So here's well, the census, it's a lot because I put the table in, but
But those are helpful for understanding.
yeah. Oh, I love using the table.
Me
Okay.
too.
I love household tables.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just trying, I want to capture the whole thing because, as Stephen said, it's really important to close it off. Okay, so here's a source that I'm only using one time. Notice that I begin it with a ref tag, and then I have the meat of the citation. What the record is, where to find it, and then this business. Once you can tell that it's the table, it generates the table. And then at the bottom, I close it off with a ref tag with this backward slash.
Well, actually, forward slash.
Or
'Cause
forward
Yeah,
slash.
it's pointing in
Yeah.
this direction towards the direction of text, and that's going to be the one that's hiding where. I type it so much, and I can't even find it on my
Under
phone.
the question mark.
It's the question mark. Yeah, it's the alternate question mark one. So yeah, you want to make sure that you have the forward greater than, or what is that, the less than sign, then the forward slash, then the word ref, and then closing it with the other, in this case, the greater than sign. So we're just using, we're going to say carrots. And that will be caught by the system, because if you have something open-ended, it may say there's an issue with your page, or it might do it when you're starting a page. So it'll warn you and say, are you sure you want to save? Oh, Immigrant Genealogy Society.
The system is going to help you out. So look, for instance, I'm just going to do this for, oops. Okay, for illustrations purposes, here is a fact. And then right after that, I'm going to click on C.
Yes.
Or cite your source, and you see then it creates the ref tags for you already, and you just paste in your citation.
Yeah, there's the handy shortcut. Some of us type them in by hand because we're weird.
So,
I think only Steve does that, y'all.
I've only been doing it for 20 years, okay?
So now let's look at this repeated reference. So I'm just going to highlight the beginning. So notice that instead of just ref with the 2 brackets, triangular brackets, now it's ref name equals whatever you decide to call it. And just keep it simple. Marriage record, okay, and close. Then here's the meat of my citation.
And Sorcerer will automatically do that bold formatting in front of the source to
Right.
kind of make it stand out and say, hey, this is the marriage record.
And then here's the closing. The closing remains the same. So that then when I go down to his marriage, I don't want to clutter up my biography any more than I already have. So here we are.
Mm-hmm.
He married Sarah Jane Perry on January 20th, 1874. Now all I have to do is write that.
Yeah. And it does have to have that / at the end to
Mm-hmm.
pick up the previous reference with that same name.
Yeah.
So if you don't do that, it's going to assume that you want to start a brand new one, and,
Right.
and then it'll make a duplicate. So you don't want to do that.
So my cheat sheet has this. I mean, if you wade through it, it talks about repeated references. Because I still sometimes, if I'm if I didn't sleep well the night before,
Okay.
I'm like, wait, where's
And
that
there's a couple
go?
of questions in the chat already. So
Yes.
yes, Gina and Anne, that BR does mean break, so it does break up the information on a
Mhm.
page.
Mhm.
I tend to avoid them though. I tend to put all of my information line by line, and as it naturally breaks, instead of forcing breaks. So I don't use them myself. But you'll see that they do auto-populate for a lot of those auto-generated sources that come from Sourcer or other means. Uh, and then Kathy is asking, I'm familiar with HTML, but do citations need to be entered in HTML format? Basically, this is how the inline citations operate. This is HTML that it uses so it can interact with the basic text that's on these pages. So I mean this is effectively what that is. It's a very basic HTML. We're not doing any super cascading style sheets or anything like that. And Rebecca is also asking how you generate the census table. You can do that easily with the Sourcer. It'll allow you to create what's called a household table as long as you're on a record that has like a US Census on it and shows all the people living in a house at a certain time. You can then click on a button within the Sourcer app and it'll say, generate household table. It'll be saved to your clipboard and then you basically just paste it into the profile when you've got that all lined up.
So,
Go ahead.
yeah, this, but let's just backtrack for source, because I think not
Mm.
everybody had Sorcerer, and so
Yeah.
you can tell that I have it's a free browser extension. You just add it on, and maybe Denise or Stephen or Murray could post the help page for
Yeah,
Sorcerer.
I'll go find it.
Thank you. And it tells you, it works on many, many browsers, but it gives all the breakdown, whether you're Android or iOS or Apple, and it's very flexible. It is the product of one of our marvelous volunteer developers. In this case, Rob Pavey is the one who changed our lives forever. And so let's see, I can run it from within the profile. And you see what it does
Oh,
for me at the top. If I want to search, let's search Ancestry. Unfortunately, I think I've dug up everything that I can find on this
I found
gentleman,
it.
but thank you. But it inputs everything that you have already put in the data fields, the name, the dates, the locations, and then, you come up with a list. And likewise, you could search in family search. Family search is nice if you can link to family search because it's not behind a paywall. But there are certain things that you just can't get except on Ancestry. So
Oh, I need to do this.
here are the family search results. And my co-hosts know that I'm
Yes, and I was working on it. I got both links up here, for the user guide in addition to the primary page.
Mhm.
The user
Thanks.
guide will walk you through more details on how to use
Mhm.
Sorcerer.
Right. So there we go. Let's see. Here's I already have this record for him, but if I go to this record, now sort of key point, you can look at the actual document and you should to, you know, to see what you can learn from it. I love to do that. But when you run Sorcerer to generate the citation, you actually want to be on this page with the record information like this.
Mm-hmm.
So learn that the hard way. And then you go here now down to the second section, and you see it will build an inline citation for you that'll have the ref tags. Or if you want the tables, you do build narrative with citation. It'll give you a little sentence, something to the effect of,
Oh,
George M. Stevenson lived in, you know, Wisconsin in 1930. And then the table. And
well, it's
Well,
still
but
do
now
the
just a
citation.
correction there, because
Yeah.
for that to include the table, you
Yeah.
have to go to your extension and select that you want to always include the table.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
exactly.
you will have to
yes.
go to build the household table separately.
Yeah.
Right.
So under options, this is where you would configure it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you can experiment with these and see what works for you.
Now, sometimes you don't want the table, so I might have it
Yeah.
turned off and do it
Right.
manually.
Mm-hmm.
I like to also just like look at the source and not what my old professor liked to say, black box all the information, because it's so easy to just dump all the sources off a family search profile and walk away, you know, without looking at what any of them are actually saying, right? So we always want to be vigilant about what we're dropping on WikiTree, because somebody else might have to come by and clean it up later, and we could save them that step, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
So let me just to demonstrate, if I were to build an inline citation, I click on that and see it works like in under a second. It's just miraculous. It's saved in my clipboard. Now I can go back to George and I'm just going to drop it here just for illustrations purposes. Just paste. And there, so here's the marriage record, and then here's this what I just pasted in there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that easy.
Oh,
Yeah. So go in and look behind the scenes. And now what I'm going to do here, since I've used George's an experimental lab, is I'm going to delete the draft and return to the profile without saving. So that's just if you go to somebody else's profile and you say, hey, I want to see how they did that, just remember not to save anything after you've taken your look. Denise, Stephen,
Yes.
other thoughts to add?
I noticed you don't have WikiTree B, but we can talk about that another time. But when you have the B, there's other options as well to clean up your biography. I know someone was asking about biographies and what to do with those. Instead of just living with the information that you get when you fill it in with the sourcer, you can simplify those biographies, which is the most important part, I think. But you can simplify those just by clicking on autobiography. But you have to add the WikiTree B extension. It's BEE that stands for extra extensions.
Ah, okay. I didn't know what that acronym was. I'm just
Uh-huh.
seeing if I can pull up the
really? That's what the EE is?
Yes, it's the browser extra extensions.
I've been on here for 5 years and I did not know that.
Don't feel bad. I just discovered it earlier this year.
So we could have just asked him, right?
Yeah.
Ian B. Call. I just thought it's because his last name was B. Call.
No.
where do we find it, Denise?
The B, it's also in the Chrome extensions if you're using Chrome.
Yeah.
And
Good point,
there's
Ann.
an extension for that as well.
But
for
I'm
me.
looking for the help page, you know, similar to the Sorcerer help page.
Oh, let me,
Oh, you may have to
yeah,
search for that within.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's correct that it's not for the Mac.
Oh, and I am on a Mac, so
Yeah, that's why you don't
It
have it.
doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work for the, yeah.
Nope.
so this page for everybody, this is worth just you know, get yourself a cup of coffee and sit down and just play around and explore
Mm-hmm.
some of these tree apps. There's some ones that we use all the time, and then there are others that are maybe a little more focused and narrow in what they do, but equally cool,
Mm-hmm.
So
helpful.
Mm-hmm.
I opened the sorcerer from the chat thing, but where do I
Yeah.
get it when I want to use it? Is it something you install or is it
Yes, the instructions are all on that help page. So it walks you through step by step. Let's see, I should,
For the WikiTree browser extension, you want to make sure that you add that if you have Chrome, or there's a number of them. Chrome.
yeah, okay, but how do you actually add it?
but Don, are you talking about Sorcerer or the browser?
Yes.
Sorcerer, okay.
WikiTree sorcerer.
And then we can talk about the browser
That
extension.
would be good.
Mhm.
So let's see, there's this whole section, how
Yeah.
to install. And just, I'm not a techie person
Okay.
myself.
There's the answer. It's from the App Store. Okay, I just don't know where to find it. Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
These were very straightforward instructions. So, yeah.
Uh-oh. What have I done?
And I think for Safari, what I've been hearing, like for people who like to do things on their phone,
Mhm.
for Safari, there is a fee that is charged when you want to add the extension. That's what I've heard, because I
Yes,
can't
it
use the
is.
phone.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
But it's nominal. Because I
Yeah.
added it so I could WikiTree on my iPad using
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it was like $5, I think. And it's a
Yeah. I think it's like
one-time thing.
$4.99, something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
One time. Yeah.
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 Well, and that also helps the development cost, right?
Right.
Because
Of course. Yeah.
someone is working on this, and a little bit
Yeah.
of, money their way can help them make it better, tweak it, improve versions.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So, Gina, we probably have time for one more question, and then we'll switch gears over to William.
So in the when you're doing making a change, it asks you for a change explanation. And
Yes.
something that I many times I type something and it's like, oh, too long. I have to. So there's a limited number, and so I think it's 144 characters or something like that. So what I
Okay.
did, I can't remember exactly how many it is, but I found it on, I probably did a Google search for it, probably. But anyway, what I did was in ChatGPT, I gave instruction. I say, I want to take this explanation that I've given. I want you to change it into 144, whatever, 44 characters or less. And
Ooh,
in 1
that
second,
is brilliant.
that was really, really useful.
Yes. Great idea.
And Gina, there's really some really short ones right below that box.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yes, and you can click on those check boxes, and then
Yeah.
WikiTree will populate that as well.
Yes,
Right.
yeah. Some of those were a little bit, I'm uncertain of the exact meaning of them. So I want to give sometimes my own explanation so that I know what I did if I
Yeah,
have, but
right.
it's hard to fit it in that the minute with the, the number of characters that you're allowed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me just show
I believe
so-
was useful for that.
yeah, that's a great idea. If you go to the profile change history, you'll see some examples. What Denise is talking about, sort of the standard options, adding sources. But then
Mhm.
I also wrote in, just for my own benefit, I added in a city directory source, or I added in censuses, or marked parents confident based on 1850 census, also named in mother's will. So I was probably getting pretty close to 144 there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's 144, that just sort of stayed in my mind, but it might not be that number. But
Yeah, yeah.
whatever it
No,
is, you can tell ChatGPT.
Right.
And it's amazing how good their sentences are. How they take all your your big long blurb and change it into something much shorter.
Yeah.
So yeah, and you see on the next one, bio improvement. So if you made any improvements to the biography for that individual, unless you want to know specifically what the improvement was, because I mean, with the change history, you can always go back and look at the edited biography link, and that will show you what those changes were.
Yeah, just click on one that says you edited the biography so we can see what the changes are.
Here, my most recent change, if you click on the action, it's going to take you to a page that looks like this.
Comparison page.
And so you can see I changed Geo to George, that sort of thing.
Geo is a common abbreviation for George in documents. So a lot of the copied references and sources will take exactly how it shows and put it in the text. And if you don't want it to display like that, then you want to make modifications. But if you want to retain what the record has been transcribed as, then you could keep it in there, but you might want to indicate that this is how it was transcribed. So there may be like extra little note on the side saying, his name came out as with a J instead of a G, but we know that that's not right.
Right.
So little things like that, they kind of add to the narrative and help your fellow contributors and collaborators when they come along to the profile and they want to add something to it, they won't get confused.
Right. And research notes.
Exactly.
Those are important too.
So I decided I sort of debated on where was I going to put this this information, which was this amazing find of his mother's will, and I couldn't really weave it artfully into the biography, so I just put it within research note. Generally speaking, research notes are a place where you want to explain maybe contradictions or things that don't add up, things that still need to be followed down in your research. Sort of thing.
Yeah, one I use a lot is because you may see census records usually estimate the birth year, so it's not always correct. And then you may look at another record like a draft registration, compare that to the date that's on the death certificate. They may be conflicting. So things like that, I make a note of in research notes just to let people know I've looked at these things. I've identified that they are different and further research is needed to verify which data is correct.
Where are research notes? How do you?
So you create that section. Yeah, you create that section under the biography.
That section doesn't exist by default, but yeah, they can show you how they can easily make one here.
Okay. The bio is long because of all the sources and the tables, but if I get down here, you can see that there are my sources, and I don't have anything under there because everything is an inline source within the biography. You notice how I've got the two equal signs, the two equal signs, and it's the same for biography. So if I want to create research notes, I just do the same thing.
And this will be the same sized header as biography and sources. If you want to make smaller size headers, you add additional equal signs. So you'll see one with 3, and you'll see one with 4, and they get smaller and smaller. They nest within there. Your table of contents will actually show them nesting.
Now, this is what I've written in the research notes is not really controversial. I mean, anyone can go to the sharing link that I provided and check this out for themselves. But if it was controversial, and it doesn't hurt for me to add this, I'm going to sign it so that, sort of take ownership with 4 tildes. So when I do that, and then let me come out,
You can click on preview to show what it looks like.
does it show the tildes?
Yeah, it'll show in preview.
In preview mode. Sometimes they're a little weird with that one.
No.
Oh,
This
no,
one
it
doesn't.
didn't. Okay.
You have to save it to generate a timestamp.
Right.
Mhm.
Exactly.
That's right.
So
Okay.
I'll just
That was
say,
always the weirdo.
okay. Now, when we go to the research notes,
There it is.
as that's me, Co 31, and it says that, I made this note on August 15th.
Mhm.
This is in universal time, but
Yeah.
so if it looks weird to you,
So it's
that's
12:53 Greenwich Mean Time right now.
Yeah.
So, can you explain the universal time? I'm kind of confused about that.
it's just a different time. It's a universal time zone. I know,
Universal Time Coordinated.
Yeah, thank you.
Based on
Thank-
Greenwich Meridian time in London, England, and then everything is plus or minus from that as the
Oh,
global
okay.
standard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of computers are working off of that universal time
Mhm.
so that they can in sync. If you've got to do something around the world or across the United States or from one country to another, you usually use the universal time.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Yeah, and plus, that's a nice consistent way of approaching time on the tree. But I mean, servers are also based in Europe too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Gina, I feel like we probably only scratched the surface for you. And what I want to say to you and to everybody is, we hope you can come back. If you or this is not a one-time opportunity, come often.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, starting because I'm a teacher. I teach adult ESL in Toronto. And I'm going to be teaching Canadian citizenship class starting, the second week in September, 3 nights. So the Thursday is going to be off the plate until November.
I
Well,
see.
but we also meet on Sundays.
Yes, I heard that. So I will definitely show up for the Sunday meeting.
Yes, good, very good.
Yeah, because this is the first time for me. Actually, it's kind of exciting because I've talked with cousins and some family, a lot of our family, they could care less about genealogy. Even my father, he was not interested. My aunt, thank goodness, she's going to be 92 this year. Great memory still. And I learned a lot about my dad from her and my cousin. They told me all these stories that I knew nothing about my dad. And but I have no community and to share things with. So this is very exciting for me. This is the first time that I've actually joined a community. So I really like that about WikiTree. That's
Awesome.
Fantastic.
And we hope
Yeah,
you
well,
enjoy it because that's what we're all here for, really.
Yeah. Well, I did that actually with Duolingo. During COVID, they had this great thing where people had all these events. They would say, oh, teaching Spanish, teaching Japanese, teaching this language, teaching that. I traveled all over the world because I was teaching from home. I had to be rushing. Okay, which class am I going to join today? I'm going to join Indonesian. I'm going to join Japanese. I'm going to join this one, that one, Spanish, French. I was joining all these languages and practicing lots of languages. And it was fantastic until they ended that. It was really great while it lasted. So this is I missed it really.
Awesome.
So
Awesome. William, did we address any of your questions before they were asked?
I learned some new things, and I understand things now because I recognize from what I was seeing, but I didn't really understand them. And I'm going to be exploring more with the references and the sorcerer. When I clicked on the number, I didn't see the list coming up. I just saw options. So I'm going to recheck to see why I didn't. I'll do it again and find out.
And it may be based on your browser or what computer you're using.
Yeah.
Oh, does it work better in a certain browser or?
There's different options based on which browser it might be used. If it's Firefox, Chrome, Opera, Safari.
Firefox. usually I use.
I'm using Firefox, so it
Oh.
shouldn't. But if you want to send me a message afterwards, I can put my ID in the chat, and then I can try looking into it myself. 'Cause,
Yeah.
yeah, I do have a Firefox.
Mhm.
Here, I'll put my ID in the chat for reference, and then
Yeah.
you can
How
go to
about
my
you, William?
Some were answered, but not all.
Okay.
Well, okay, it's your turn. So let's ask away.
Okay, well, I'm gonna pick the ones that kind of dovetail on what's already been talked about, so it kind of keeps things in order. But with regard to the bios, Betsy, you talked about, you're trying not to put anything in there that doesn't flow nicely and that isn't sourced. Does everything in the bio have to be sourced, especially when we're talking about somebody that, it's something we know personally from one of our parents or grandparents? Is it suffice to just say, personal conversation with so and so, or is there a little latitude there?
Yes, I mean you can serve as a source. I'll just show quickly. Let's see if I go back here, if I go to myself, because there's a section called memories.
Memories. Yes.
Yeah. So if I go to well, let's go to my answer to my mom. So I have her bio, and I have I am a source, firsthand information provided
okay.
by me.
Yep.
And then also we have memories, and this would be a place for more
Okay.
personal sorts of things.
Okay.
Yeah, some of those fond memories you have for folks, if you know of funny things, because another thing I like about WikiTree versus a lot of the other sites is that WikiTree focuses on the individual, the biography, what you remember about that individual. You're explaining what it is about them and their life that happened from the time they were born to the time they left us. So what's in that dash is what I usually say when I'm talking to other folks. So what does that mean? Because a dash is a very small thing, but you know a lot about that person. And you can include that, your special memories, or in the bio, if there's things about organizations they belong to, how involved were they with their community, things of that nature. And usually those are supported like by newspapers or publications and universities and other places like that. So if you need a source to document that, that's where you could find those types of things.
Perfect. Okay. Another one that came up, and this is with the conversations that everybody's been having. Little old school, is there any type of courses or webinars where you can go sit down where people are teaching this, that you can sit and learn all these tips and tricks, or is it always online like this?
this is it. This is
it. Okay.
actually kind of what we're doing, right?
Okay. On that note, then, is there, for people that are just starting out, is there like a mentor or handholder, somebody that can see my screen and say, okay, you've done this wrong, or like, and let me show you how to correct that? How do you get in touch with people like that can say, look, I really want to learn this. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, or if I'm doing things wrong, can you look at my stuff, show me what I've done wrong and how I can, make the corrections?
Yeah, you can always, ask for a mentor. Usually there is a greeter that reaches out to you when you first join. You can contact your greeter and say, hey,
Okay.
I need help with this, because that's what they do. If they can't answer the question, they can refer you to someone else.
But not just help, but to be able to like see the same thing that I'm looking at and walk me through and share a screen and kind of do that hand holding.
Yeah.
Okay.
The screen sharing, I mean, I think that is one of the reasons that I had the idea for this series. I'm a teacher as well, and I went through that year of online learning during lockdown, and I was teaching high school band over the computer, which was extremely challenging. But I recognized also the power of the platform with the screen sharing, and so that's why we do these sessions is the real-time capabilities. Now, maybe Murray would put in the chat the link for a similar series called Tech Talk, which is, as you're a little more advanced, it talks about the apps and the extensions and the new developments, the tools. And Murray's involved in that along with our other developers, and so that is the first Monday evening of the month. I hope I've got that right.
Okay.
But I also want, you were asking for, sort of a more personalized help. We have a couple of projects that offer a more structured learning opportunity. You mentioned you're in Canada. The Canadian project, Canada project has the Transcontinental Trail, which I did 2 levels of. You get paired with a mentor in Canada, and you work through profiles under their guidance.
Perfect. Perfect.
US Black Heritage has one too. Denise, right? Can you talk a little
Yes.
about that?
Yes, the U.S. Black Heritage Project also deals with, of course, those that have African American heritage, or, I mean, we've been getting a lot of contact from folks who they've discovered their ancestors were slave owners. So they reach out to us so that we can assist them on how to document their ancestors' profiles and connect them to the slaves that they owned back in the day. So that's another one. But we also have a segment that we're starting on Saturday roundups to talk about the various projects. And in those projects, if you need assistance or you'd like a mentor, Betsy's already mentioned the Canada project. We have over 100 different projects within WikiTree, believe it or not. And all of them are always looking for volunteers. If you're on Discord, a lot of those different projects have a way for you to communicate with those various projects as well. So you could reach out to people there and ask specific questions and get a response.
Perfect.
So we've got a lot of different ways for you to reach out and touch people.
Okay.
Yes, Arlen mentioned G2G,
Yep.
which is the Genealogist to Genealogist Forum. So if you have a specific question within WikiTree, it's a community forum. You can go out there, ask your question, and then someone that can answer that question either from that project or that specific group will get back in touch with you.
Perfect. Yeah,
You wanna
I've
make
used
sure
that
to
one a
tag
few
it.
times. It's
Go ahead.
been helpful.
Yeah.
Last one, I think. I accidentally, well, not accidentally, but as fumbling through, I found a page that indicated some potential data issues listed off in a table, what the issue was, how to fix it. A lot of them were with regard to DNA confirmation. Can you explain that a little bit? I was under the impression that it was going to confirm the DNA if somebody else created a profile that descended from the same person and they've got DNA. Is it me then? Like if I see that now my cousin's on, so the fact that my cousin and I were a match, that proves that my maternal great-grandmother is common to both of us. Do I put that DNA link or that she's DNA confirmed to me, or will that come up on its own?
Well,
Because I've got a lot of errors.
If Murray is able to answer this question, he's probably going to be the best person to say this.
I would agree. Yeah.
If he's not available, I mean, WikiTree itself doesn't prove the DNA, right? So the matches are made somewhere else, and it will display who it believes might be related to somebody through percentages, for estimated percentages, but they're not exact percentages, right? So I guess I'm not quite sure exactly what you're looking for, other than
Well, it's
what
not
it's
what I'm
going to
looking
automatically
for.
display. Go ahead.
not what I'm looking for. It's what's been presented to me. And I don't
Okay.
know exactly where I found it, but it was listing literally of all the work that I've done, what
Yep.
the potential errors are. And a
Okay.
significant number of them were DNA confirmation that I didn't put it or I did put it. And so I'm just not clear as to what I'm supposed to be doing with it so that I don't keep making the same mistake.
Right. Let me just backtrack. So you've linked your DNA to WikiTree, is that correct, William?
I have. I've tested
Okay,
with 3
great,
different ones, so it's
great.
on there. It indicates that DNA tested at 23andMe, Ancestry, and MyHeritage.
Yeah, and so me too. And so what the first thing that will happen, and this is automatic, is that your DNA is going to populate throughout your tree. Now remember here, we're still on my mother's profile, Suzanne. And so these percentages that you see are going to be the hypothetical one.
Oh, okay.
Except for 100, I mean, of course, she's 100% with herself and she's 50% with me. But this is a second cousin of mine. Now, whether or not she's really 6 point, that's the theoretical.
I get that, but if
Yep.
you can pull up the, not that there's anything wrong with your data, but if you can pull up the table that shows where there might be problems with the data, and I want to see if you have something similar that shows up that
Okay.
might help explain to me what it is I'm doing that's resulting in so many errors.
Right. And just before, let me ask you, before I do that, I can do that. But have you been doing confirmation statements like this?
No,
Okay. So
Common
this
thing.
is
Mhm.
right. So you can see this is a citation, and we can point you to DNA confirmation citation app, where you just plug in all this information, and it will give you this statement to paste into the sources. But basically, yeah, it mentions our most recent common ancestors. And then our predicted relationship, our centimorgans shared, and number of segments shared. So are you comfortable screen sharing, William?
absolutely.
Awesome. I'm
I
gonna
just,
get out.
I just can't remember where I found it.
Okay, well, maybe we can help you. Okay, I'm making you a co-host, and you should now be able to share.
Do you see the green button at the bottom that says share?
It hasn't popped up.
Sometimes you have to move your mouse down and it'll pop up.
Yeah, no, I'm just coming right off. Under more, right? It should, yep, there it is. Okay, now I got it. I gotta fix the privacy issue on my end.
Understood. So Betsy, earlier, I think we were looking at Murray's screen as well. Was he trying to pull up some DNA confirmation stuff for us? Or
I was.
okay.
And Murray did put the link for Tech Talk, the schedule. He put the schedule out there. It's the last Monday of each month.
Last Monday, I'm sorry.
Yeah. For Tech Talk.
Yeah, you know what? It's not allowing me. I'm missing a
Your
step here.
privacy settings on your computer, I see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do you want me? Do you want me to show some confirmations, Betsy?
Sure, yes. And I will look up the, while you do that, Mary, I'm going to look up the help page for Greg's DNA confirmation maker app.
So, so I'm going to get right down into the section where we do the confirmations. Okay, so you can see here on this first one, it says, excuse me, This text just shows up on the right hand side and says that I'm a descendant of Lawrence Owen and Lena Phillips. Then starting here, we've got what's called a DNA confirmation. And it says that the paternal and maternal relationships are confirmed by Ancestry DNA test match between me and my brother Peter. And their most recent common ancestors are our parents. And the predicted relationship is brother, based on sharing 2786 centimorgans across 45 segments, the longest segment being 156 centimorgans, that we share 50 to 57% of our DNA, and the confidence is extremely high. So this is an example where, obviously we're really close here, right? So it's easy to confirm this relationship because the numbers are so big, right? We can only be either brothers or mother child or father son. Now, as we move down, excuse me, I'll get into, for example, here's a Y-DNA relationship where a number of my cousins have taken a Y-DNA test, and we've created a statement that shows that the paternal relationship is confirmed using a Y chromosome DNA test on Family Tree. And there's the kit number for me, and there's the kit number for one of my cousins, and that we match at a genetic distance of 2 on 111 markers. And therefore, we confirm that we have a direct paternal line back to our most recent common ancestor, who is Edward Sidney Maloney. So the grandfather of me and my cousin. Now we can keep going down and get to, for example, here's a fourth cousin. And I'm saying that, oh no, that was not a good one.
Yeah,
Here
but
is
none of this answers my question, though.
So,
I see what you're saying, and we can go through all those, and it proves relationships for you. But mine specifically to how do I clear those errors in my data? So I've posted the error message that I see. Will me creating these statements fix those errors? Because I got hundreds of them.
William,
where-
have you marked, say you and a close family, have you marked yourself as DNA confirmed?
Yes.
Okay,
there's your problem.
yeah, if you do that without putting in a DNA confirmation
There
statement.
we go. That's the answer I was looking for.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
so I put the last thing in the chat is the link that you will want to create those.
Okay.
sites. Yeah.
Okay, because
In
it
the
wasn't
chat anymore.
it wasn't clear when as a newbie user, I know that me, my cousin, my third cousin, second cousin, we all share DNA, which proves that the grandmother is in common to all of us. So that's why I was indicating DNA. This relationship is DNA confirmed. There is nothing I found that said that I needed to have some additional script or proviso to do that. That's the question that I had. It's like, why is that error coming up? So
Right.
that helps a ton. Thank you.
Okay,
Good.
I
Good.
understand now.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Sorry for
the
the
information's
confusion there.
there. Like when you're in edit, there's no little footnote that qualifies how that edit or that data field is supposed to be filled out. It just says, is this DNA relationship confirmed? And click yes, it is, because I know it is. But then I see now that it's creating all these error messages because I can't do that without having that DNA statement.
Yeah, so it sounds like you need a prompt. Users need a prompt to let them know if they're saying DNA is confirmed, they need a prompt or something that has them go add
Right.
that additional
Because
information.
otherwise you'll end up with 151 warnings. I'm just looking at my my suggestions now. So I got 151 warnings to fix because I've filled it out like that.
Murray,
Mhm.
please tell me this is something we can fix. That we can give them a query window or some kind of prompt or something.
Well, I mean, if you use the browser extension and you turn on biocheck will tell you at the bottom of the profile, hey, you've turned on DNA confirmed, but you don't have a DNA confirmation statement.
Well, up until today, I didn't know what the extensions were or how to use them. Like, 'cause before I started to ride my bike without the training wheels, I wanted to make sure I was kind of getting the basics right. So the extensions to me just seemed like an advanced step that I need to figure out the simple stuff first, and then and that's why I'm here, was to try and make sure, okay, what do I know, what don't I know? Because I can't ask a question if I don't even know what I don't know.
Sure.
So that's why I'm here. Hello.
Well, did this clarify anything at all for you?
Oh,
I know that
absolutely.
we reinvented the wheel in order to get back to the actual answer that you
Absolutely.
needed,
Well, yeah,
right?
because some of my questions, because Betsy early on said she likes doing research with WikiTree, and I'm like, wait a minute, research with WikiTree? WikiTree seems like it's just a place you do all your research elsewhere, and you just deposit it here with confirmation and everything else. I didn't realize that you can now search with these extensions all the things that I've been going and doing manually, that I can now do it through these subroutines and browser extensions. So you were making comments like, I love using it to research. I'm like, well, how do you do that? So this is making a lot more sense now. This is helpful.
On that note, would I be able to share something really quick to illustrate how we do research on WikiTree?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'm all
and this is
Well,
why
even
I appreciate
now that
this site. Go ahead.
Well, and now that I know the answer, I want to go back to Murray. I appreciate what you were showing me, because I want to learn how to do all that.
Right.
I just didn't know what it was connected to. So
Yeah,
now that I know, I'm going to need a whole lesson on what it is
Yeah.
you were
So-
trying to show me.
I'm not going to mess with DNA. I'm gonna walk away from that because that's Murray's specialty anyway. But we have these
I'll be
things.
reaching out to Murray specifically.
Okay.
Murray, expect a direct message.
So we also have these things called one place studies and one name studies, and I actually have a one name study in mind that I'd like to share because I have it pretty fleshed out in terms of like all the different places that I want to look at and do research and get into talking to cousins and things. And so if it's okay for me to share that, this is one of the ways that we do research on WikiTree outside of simply just creating these profiles and working on these. Because we do have access to space pages that allow us to type up anything we need. So would that be okay if I do that right now?
Well, you're a co-host.
Just one more question on
let
the
me just go ahead and find it really quick.
one more question on the DNA
Oh,
confirmation.
sorry.
While you guys are doing that, yeah. Let's get this up
Stephen,
here.
let me answer Don's question. Well,
Yeah. You guys do that. I'm gonna get this page set up.
Yep.
Where do you find the DNA confirmation citation maker? I clicked on it from the chat.
Yeah.
And I found it, but now how do you get it installed on your?
Oh, this is not something that you have to install. This is
Okay.
something where it's web-based, and you just work with it from the screen that from the link that I sent you.
So just keep that link. Okay.
Right. Just
Okay.
keep that link. Bookmark that link. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, this works. I was also digging into my 33rd great grandfather, who apparently was a Danish king, and that was a weird little side romp that I took today too. So we can go here. Yeah, I can share right from here. So let's go into share, and you're just gonna see my profile here really quick. So I'll just kind of go back up to the top, and you can see, hey, look, this is me. I'm Steven. Hello. I have a lot of stuff on my page, which is an understatement. I like researching things, and I have a bunch of space pages that I maintain, control, and contribute to. I'm going to go to one of my German one-name studies down here. So this is going to be one that I've worked on pretty extensively. It's called the Klitschke name study because it focuses on people with the last name of Klitschke. Klitschke is also a funny last name because it means dummy, I think. It's kind of equated to like a not very bright person, and somehow this name became very popular in my family tree, in my branch of the tree. And so a lot of the name studies start out like this, where they have a lot of the same text, and you can change them to be specific to whatever you're working on. And I made some edits here and talked about like various locations where they might be showing up. And like, here's a note. So like, if you see this name, it's not a typo. It's actually a location in a different place. So then I'm breaking them down by geography or time period or topic. Maybe they had different occupations. I wanted to get all the farmers together or something. You'll see like over here is an image of a gravestone that I took at a local cemetery. So like that's acting as my cover photo for this name study. And this also shows up on all of the stickers that are attached to profiles that are under this name study. So they'll actually have this name on display. And if you go down, it'll say, hey, if you want to join this, maybe you're, a cousin, you can talk to me. I'm the name study coordinator, so it links to me. There's a sticker that goes to those various places. Like I said, I get into the etymology and the frequencies. I'm like pulling some of this information from other places that maybe talked about it. And then I start getting into the notables that I found. Usually I'm like going on to, the English Wikipedia, or in this case, the German Wikipedia has a lot of information on it because that's where they're from. And so I'm still looking at maybe making some connections to some of these people. And then, various places that these names show up. And then the real meat here is where I start getting into where they show up. And I know I have a whole bunch of red links here, which are pages that don't exist yet, but I do want to work on them. But right now I do have a Canada category that's got somebody in it. There's one person that was born in St. Louis, Missouri, and they ended up in Canada, Port Dover, Ontario, of all places. So, this person is part of the greater project because they share that last name, right? It's all part of that same name study. And again, if I go back, you can see that I'm breaking down, the countries a little bit more. I still need to work on Germany itself, but I have a lot in Prussia and Pomerania, which would now be considered Poland. So like there's a little bit of overlap with the Polish project. Most of what I have is actually in the United States. So now I have a United States category that I have broken down into its various states, and then I'm trying to break them down into like their individual counties that these people are showing up in. And every one of these categories will allow us to do research on a much more local focus instead of just running into a name and not really seeing the connections with their family and their friends, where they're buried or whatnot. This also will allow us to see the relationships between immigration. So like, where did certain populations go, start from and go to? And, if you immigrated, you usually went to a place that somebody was already familiar with in your village or your clan or something, right? And a lot of my focus was on Wisconsin because a lot of my people show up in Wisconsin, in particular, a little county called Sauk. So I have a whole bunch of people who are in this particular category that links from that space page. And I can even go into a special button here called My Connections. Do you see this in the upper right-hand corner?
Yep.
I can see how all these people are related to me. And it looks like most of them are. In fact, all of them are, because they all show up here in ancestors and cousins. And they're not just connected. If they were connected by marriage, they would show up in this section down below.
Mhm.
So I am inherently related to many people with this surname, which makes it interesting to me, and thus that's why I'm the name coordinator. Even though my last name isn't Klitschke, it's just because it's through maternal lines and other things like that.
Yeah.
But so I just wanted to illustrate that that's a way that we can really, and then this was actually trying to track the immigration of these people and then all of their children. So I'm breaking down like all of the people and all the marriages, where the names changed, but where the names remain the same. I highlighted them and then I tried to follow them through history. So this is my attempt at doing all of this across Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois. And I invite any of the cousins to come in and help with this as well, because they might be connected to several of these lines. So,
Wow.
so without further ado, I mean, there's so much more on this page. It would take forever to talk about it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm just going
Ooh.
to I'm going to
Lot of
stop
work.
now while we're good.
Do you have DNA confirmations on all those people?
I
Yeah,
mean,
'cause
I got a
otherwise
Facebook
you're gonna
message.
have a nasty list if you don't.
I got a Facebook message from one of those cousins. I got to hit him up again, but it sounded like that maybe he did, and I just need to talk to these people more. But yeah, that would be really cool to see the relationships with those Germans going back, 6, 7 generations.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay, this is one less follow up to mine. This is going to be
Yep.
specific to Murray. With my list of 151 errors, then the better way to fix this is to go into each one and just change them to
No.
confident.
Yes,
And then
that's right. That's
and
the
then
easiest thing to do for now.
and then do all those statements later and then update it at that time.
That's right. Now here's
Perfect.
the thing. When you do DNA confirmation, like you saw the close one that I did with my brother and my
Yep.
parents, right?
Yep.
So that confirmation needs to go on my profile, on my brother's profile, and that will
The common
and that tells the
ancestry.
system that it's okay for us to confirm our parents as
Got it.
DNA confirmed. Okay.
Got it. We have to have
When you
both
get
ends.
well, it's not just a question of both ends. Once you're going out to like third great grandparents, you have to run up the whole line.
Right.
Okay. You have to
Yeah. Well,
in every ancestor.
Yeah.
Along the way. So it takes a little bit of time, but that's what Greg's DNA confirmation maker does.
Perfect.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
what you're going to discover, William, when you use it is it doesn't just give you generally, it doesn't just give you one citation. It says, well, based on these two people, you can also confirm these bonus relationships. And it'll say, take this and paste it on so-and-so's profile and take that. And so it's fantastic. And you can do, when you're ready to do triangulation, you can use it for that too.
Perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we have,
I suggest saving that for January and February.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Agree.
yeah, that's more advanced for sure.
Yeah. Well, and it's wintertime project too. When
Yeah.
Up here in Canada, we're buttoned up a little bit more. So.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you so much. I feel like we could keep the party going for several more hours, but some people might need to get up in the morning. So we'll call it a night and say thank you, not just to everybody who's with us here on the call, but also everyone who's watching afterwards on YouTube. Please come back. We have people who just come to every single session and it's wonderful. So our next session will be Sunday, August 24th at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Yes, Stephen and Ann have something to say.
It sounds like Gina's got another question, but maybe we can address that after we stop recording. Unless
Right.
you want to include that in the recording.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
what it is I just gave William a thing saying that he should talk to Stephen because Stephen is part of the German project and
Oh, right. That's what you were
And-
messaging me about.
right, yeah.
But then Gina also had. Oh, are you saying that Gina has German ancestry that she has
No,
questions on?
William does.
William does. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm confused.
Okay.
yeah.
You never know,
And
though.
and I
night.
did respond to Gina's question in the
Oh.
chat.
Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, there's a separate question.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to stop the recording. Thank you and good night, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
It was a very nice meeting everybody.